Hello and everybody, welcome back to another quick review between the Sony Xperia Z1 and the Z2. Now in the previous video, of course, you have seen that we compared this with the Z1, Z2 and the Z Ultra, but this is something I'm going to test today for you, more to focus about the real world usage scenario. So this is going to be more or less testing about the features, the performance, and in a real world usage, how this phone is it a better upgrade over the Z1 or over the Z, or is it really that you would be looking forward to. So quickly, let's go ahead with the tests. First thing I'm going to check, or rather quickly run through the quick specifications of both the phones. This side is the Z1 and this is the Z2. The Z1 is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 800, is an 801, 2 gigs of RAM, 3 gigs of RAM, 5-inch triluminous display, 5.2-inch triluminous display with live color LED, about 441 pixels, about 420 odd pixels, 424 I guess. It's got 20.7 megapixel camera, 20.7 megapixel camera. This is the TFT LCD and this is the IPS display. Both have the same waterproofing, and the batteries especially are 3100 and it's 3200 milliamp hour battery, so it's a slight bump of 100 milliamps, but a huge step up in the software optimization. Both of them run 4.4K CAT, and with the latest version that's updated as per the Sony's website. So let's quickly go ahead and start testing this. To start off with, first let's check the boot times. So I'm going to power on the phones both together at the same time, and let's see who boots up first. On the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. The first thing you will notice is the new Xperia boot logo. That's from KitKat. Looks like the Z1 loaded first actually, even though it started off a little earlier or later with the Z2. Okay, I'm gonna quickly unlock and I'm gonna bump up the brightness on both. Let's keep this to the maximum. I'll do the same thing for this. Let's do the maximum. Okay, so we are max brightness at the moment. Okay, I've got a bit of sunlight at the moment on the desk, especially to show how the sunlight visibility is of this devices. So with the max brightness, what I'm gonna do is let's open up quickly a photo on both the devices, which is quite common. Okay, so we have both the images loaded at the moment. So if you look at the images below, if you look at it, this looks darker. Tones are much darker. This is much lighter, more like a washed out. But when I actually look head on, and we bring it closer to you, when you look at these devices head on, they look the same. Right, close to the same. Although this boosts up the color a little bit more than this. That's probably because, although both of them have the X-Reality turned on, this seems to a bit saturate more the colors, and this because of the live color LED on it. So that's about the viewing angles or the brightness. Now, like I said, I have a lot of brightness here. The sun, the visibility is quite good. When I say look at this light, you can still kind of see wash out of the colors. It's quite good. And if you look at the Z1, looks very good. washed out, a bit washed out. The green's almost turned white. Okay, so that's about the viewing angles. The next one I would like to show you all is in real world. When you're somewhere, you want to snap an image immediately. You look at something and you want to take a picture of it. So we're going to look at how quick the camera opens up from the main menu, or when you're in the home screen. Now, for all fairness, I'm just going to clear all the existing apps. Right. I'm going to close all. So now we have pretty much just the home screens, right? So I'm going to press and hold the camera button and let's see how long it takes. 1, 2, okay, it's about close to about 2 seconds. Alright, what on the Z2? 1, 2, yeah, it's about the same time. But let's see how long does it take. Let me close that app again. No recent apps, good. No recent apps, okay. Now let's see how quickly they load from the actual camera app itself. On the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. Looks like slight edge on the Z1 loads quite a bit faster. So that's good, although it's just a very millisecond kind of difference. Multitasking is one of the features that everyone loves to do on their phones. Now 3 gigs of RAM on the Z2 gives it a slight edge, but let's see in real world scenario, is 2 gigs sufficient or is 3 gig really matter? So I'm going to open up multiple apps. First the album, okay, I'm going to just minimize, and then I'm going to press the Walkman, and then I'm going to open up the Play Store. Then I'm going to open up the Movies app. I'm going to minimize that. And then I'm going to open up some more applications. Let's say the calendar. And then I'm going to open up, let's say, the Box app. That's closed as well. Let's open up Chrome Resource Hungry app. That's closed, as minimized as well. Let's open up the backup and restore. Okay, so now we have pretty much a huge amount of apps opened up, right? And let's try doing multitasking. So I'm going to switch from app to app. So I'm going to go to the multitasking key. I'm going to go to Chrome, so it opens up pretty quick. And then I'm going to go to, let's say, calendar. So one loads quick faster, that's interesting. And then let's go to the Walkman app, both same. Let's go back and try the camera app. Z2 loads a bit faster. Let's try the Play Store app, both load faster. Like you see, KitKat is more resource friendly, so even though you have 3 gigs of RAM, I don't think it really makes a big difference with respect to the multitasking. So I'm going to both of them open pretty quickly. Now there's one more thing I'd like to highlight that I've observed, probably just my device, or is it other devices as well. If you go to the white balance, or just rather the whites on both the displays, I'm going to open up the white balance. I'm going to keep this now to minimal, and if you really look closely, the Z1 has much more white than the actual Z2. This looks a bit warm white than the Z1. In real world, let's open up the, let's say, a blank. Okay, let me open up the hash star hash service hash star service. Okay, and I'm going to open up the service test. I'm going to open up the display. If you look at the whites, the Z1 has a bit whiter whites than the Z2. If you look at the grays, the blacks, the reds, the greens, the blues, and the multicolor. I hope you're seeing the difference. Okay, so that's about the displays. Okay, now let's go into quickly to the next one. That's going to be the music speaker. So we all know Z1 has a bigger grill at the bottom, but although it has a bigger grill, it doesn't mean it has a very big speaker. It has a teeny speaker, mainly because of the waterproofness. Now the same thing is on the Z2 as well. You have one speaker here and you have one speaker here, but let's see how they both sound. I'm gonna open up the same song, so just give me a quick second. Okay, so we've got the songs opened up. So let's try both of these, how they sound. I'm gonna play the song first on the Z2. I'm gonna max it out. Okay, I think it got. Let me turn up the X reality of what you call sound effects, the clear audio. Okay, I'm gonna play the same song. Z1. It sounds almost the same, but it's just that the Z2 has 2 times the speakers of Z1, so it's similar to Z1 speakers, but it's just into 2. So it's got the same speakers like here. This one here is also replicated here. So that's about the speaker thing on the Xperia Z1 and Z2. Now the next one we would like to see is the touch sensitivity. That's something at the moment a bit difficult to test, but let me take that in the last. And then there are a couple of things I would like to talk about here is with respect to the stamina mode, rather the battery longevity on this device. If I go into the let's say power management, and there are certain things that it looks pretty much similar on both the devices, but when you actually go into the stamina mode itself, you have something extra here called extended standby. Now this would disable all the mobile and data Wi-Fi connections when your screen's off, and this doesn't have that option at the moment. But this, what it does is essentially it just keeps certain apps in standby mode or the active mode, and still keeps your data connection on, but restricting all other apps to use it. So let's say you have WhatsApp and Hangouts in your active standby applications, and you leave it in the whitelist here. When the screen is off, only those two applications can use your data. Even though the connection is still connected, only those two apps would use it, but not your other apps like Viber or Line. Anything that's open still cannot use the data connection. That's because it's put in hibernation mode by the stamina mode applications. That's something new with the Z2 standby or the stamina mode option. Next one, we all know that this happened in the Z Ultra as well, but when you actually have some water on the screen, the screen just goes crazy. We've all seen that, so let's try that if that happens here as well. So I'm gonna open up the window for the apps and then gonna drop some water on the screen and see if it goes crazy. Both of them, you see, Z1 is already acting up. It's opening up different applications. Z2 is not doing it. Let me just try to shake a little bit. No. What about Z1? It kind of did open up the application you saw there. So the touch sensitivity is a bit higher, I would say, on the Z1 compared to the Z2, or is that that craziness of acting of water on the screen is removed in the Z2. Well, let's quickly get if you look at that, with the water on the screen, I'm not able to actually do anything on both of the screens. Seems to be unresponsive. So let me get the water out. Okay, so we have the water out of the screen now, and yes, they work perfectly fine. So that's about the touch sensitivity on the screens. Now the next one I would like to talk about is the Wi-Fi, or rather the web page loading on the phones. So let's pick equally both connecting to the same Wi-Fi. Let's go to settings. Just gonna clear up everything here. Let's go to Wi-Fi. Go to Wi-Fi. Got the 5 gigahertz connection connected on both. Okay, so we connected. Now to the right, APN. Let's open up Wi-Fi, and I'm gonna load BBC News. Okay, let's type BBC News co.uk. I'm just gonna load on this count of 1, 2, 3. Looks like the Z1 is much faster. Interesting. Okay, let's open up the story which has on the first page 1, 2, and 3. This time it's Z2. It's a bit funny. Let's try again. Let's go to the home page and see. On the count of 1, 2, and 3. Oh, it's Z2 again. Let's try another one. 1, 2, and 3. It's a tie between both of them. Each one winning on each occasion here, and the second one almost being close. So that's about the battery, camera, multitasking, Wi-Fi speeds, and last but not least, let's quickly check the low light photography, how these two devices perform. So I'm gonna dock the room off for a minute rather, and I'm gonna take a few pictures and show you how they look in real time scenario in dark light.